Thank you, Madam Chair, for holding this hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for your time and your testimony. $5.9 trillion is a significant sum of money, a lifeline for hardworking Americans, and the sum total of relief and job protection measures provided in the CARES Act. Last year, Congress acted decisively during a once-in-a-century pandemic, but our work is far from done. We're obligated to ensure that relief aid arrived to the folks who needed it most, especially Black Americans, communities of color, and low-income groups. Already in poorer health due to being without health care coverage, communities of color were the essential workers who disproportionately bore the brunt of sickness, hospitalization, and death due to COVID-19, and who were exposed throughout the pandemic while enabling us to work from home. They are the people who have too often been underserved and unserved by the federal government. Mr. Izard, your office has found FEMA's management of disaster relief grants and funds to be inadequate. You reported last year that improving FEMA's management of these grants would be one of DHS's top challenges in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. What is the impact of these deficiencies on FEMA's ability to get disaster relief grants to communities of color and Black Americans?
Thank you for the question, sir. As you rightly stated, we've done a lot of work in this area, and we have ongoing work now. One particular audit that was done, and I will just say that I am much more attuned to our criminal investigative work, but have some general visibility on our audit work. And one particular audit that was done looked at FEMA strengthening its responsibility determination process to ensure that contracts are granted properly in the right place at the right time. That audit actually was awarded and then canceled 22 contracts valued at about $184 million. So we were able to identify as a part of that audit that there were deficiencies that FEMA had in not providing guidance to the contracting personnel. And we provided a recommendation to them as well in order to fix that. Also, looking at—
Let me ask you this. Has FEMA made any improvements in helping the underserved and underrepresented since your report was released?
Well, we do have other projects ongoing now that speak to equity. And one in particular that is going on now is we're looking at some work that will actually deal with equity and how things are handled. We're planning work that's related to that. So that's ongoing. And so we would hope to have an answer for you more specifically here in the near future. We'll take that as a get back because we believe that's very important work.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kraus, the GAO reported on the CARES Act loan program for aviation and found that small businesses were less likely to receive loans under this program, and that Treasury prioritized applications from large passenger carriers. That said, small businesses are more likely to be led by minorities and women. As a result of Treasury's actions, what has been the impact on minority-owned small businesses and Black-owned small businesses from prioritizing the large carriers?
So we didn't get into that level of detail in terms of who is impacted in terms of the types of or that level of detail in the data. I think what we did find, though, with that program and some of the challenges that the small businesses faced was some lessons to be learned if there is another similar type of program in the future. So having potentially multiple paths or multiple programs to be able to support the diversity of businesses that might be applying for that type of assistance.
Thank you. Mr. Izard, what key things do you believe FEMA still needs to do to improve their grant management oversight, especially for the grantees who desperately need these funds, whose livelihood and families depend on relief aid?
Well, as you stated, sir, that's a very, very important area to look into. We certainly remain in collaborative and collegial with FEMA to ensure that they're continuing to direct their attention in areas where there are the greatest gaps and deficiencies. In fact, our recommendations from our audit works are intended to actually point them in the direction of where the greatest deficiencies are. So we'll continue our collaboration with them and continue to, in the hopes that they will move in the direction that, as you just referenced.
Thank you. The gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you.